Tenchu. Yeah, I like stealth games, but I've yet to get into this one because it's pretty clunky, honestly. It's kind of interesting to own the first one. And this is in a thin case because it's a review copy. I actually own quite a few review copies across different systems. You'll see about 2 when it comes to PS3 games. I used to own a review, well, actually not preview copy, review copy, because they handed it out to reviewers before they went to the public, and thus they were given like very basic covers just detailing the controls, or none at all. No, I owned a copy of Splinter Cell Conviction for the 360, which had like a white haze over the cover, then like a little yellow label saying do not resell, and what was the other game? Alpha Protocol, which also came in a disc CD jewel case as well, so that was cool. Yeah, they worked, but the only one I couldn't get to work was God of War 3, because it went to a certain section and it froze, and it would just not load beyond a certain point. So now I'm hopping to PS3 versions. But no, this is true. When I played the review copy of God of War 3, it would freeze at a certain point. Then, using the exact same save data, I would load up the not the real, but the retail version, and then it would just play just fine. So I don't know what was up with that. Maybe it was just buggy or something in the preview. Vibrebin, hey. It was nice to find a copy of this. It was like £20 plus, actually. One of the most expensive PS1 games I received, because it was a birthday present. But yeah, I spotted it in the shop and I thought, ooh, I have not seen this around. I should. And I should get it. So yeah, yeah, no, because I saw a friend play this on an Android tablet. I was like, I have to own the real thing, because that means I can actually stick CDs in the PS3 and then just muck about with them. I mean, actually, I should really burn the Michael Rosen rap to a CD and then play it and see how it plays using Vibram, and that'll be a fun video. Although I do not own any sort of capture software, because it's used for capturing. The only capture software I own is to capture VHS tapes, so that wouldn't do much good quality-wise. But you could still see it though. I might give it a go. Who knows? Last of the PS1. Good games here. Absolute classics. I don't know about you, but you know, I really wanted to see films of low quality stuck on a PS1 disc. Yeah, I don't know what. Okay, who allows these things? Okay, for those who don't know, there's actually a video by what's his name, game reviewer Kadikarus, who did reviewed something called Dalmatians 3, which was like, it was for the PS2, and it was this absolutely dreadful 40-minute animation stuck on a PS2 disc with some really crap mini-games. And even before then, they did these sorts of things for the PS1. Like, there's barely any description, and yeah, they rip images from, like, I think, well, at least redraw Disney animation for the most part. I think there's some, like, anime snuck in there somewhere. And these are officially licensed as well, because it's given an age rating. It's, like, licensed by Sony, and it's by a company called Midas, which I actually own quite a few PS2 games by. So I have no idea what these are, and you can see how cheaply these were sold off. Like, this was 20p. This was £1, and apparently stars Michael Jackson. Hello. This one actually, I haven't seen this one yet, or one of the other two, and for some reason the cover's upside down. Thanks. So yeah, 20p, £1. This was £1.50, which we got recently from a trip to our grandparents' house with Georgia the Rip-Off Jungle, who looks a bit like Link, going, gee, it sure is rip-offing around here. Also, it's the only version that lists the rest of the games you can get from these lovely people. What else is there? Autofocus. Wow, I'm not the only one. Anastasia, Goldie, Lion and the King. Oh, I own that one. Moses, Prince of Egypt. Oh no, they're delving into DreamWorks territory there. Nice Cats.
Nice.
The Dalmatians. Oh, that's the first one then, before the third. And the Sword of Camelot. Right, so I look forward to finding those in a bin somewhere. Hopefully a real one and not just a bargain bin. Let's just move on. PS2. Yeah, funny thing is, before a few months ago, actually, I didn't own a lot of PS2 games, but I just suddenly got this huge influx of PS2 games, because now, like, it takes up 2 shelves. I mean, not most of my games take up that. I mean, I think a close contender of the PS3 games, but that's even kind of slim. The reason is because there was a shop that I frequent, and actually that's where I got the Lion and the King over there, and they were chucking out like a ton of PS2 games. Well, not literally, they were in a box, and I bought it off them for £5. So I got a ton of PS2 games. Not all of them I've been looking for in the same format. Like, I was most looking for them on Xbox and GameCube. I thought, well, £5, £5, and I just need to find more memory cards so I can play more of them. That's the reason why I don't buy many PS2 games. But now I own a ton, mostly very interesting, weird ones. Some here, I'm not going to dare show this one because it's bad. I mean, I'd say look up. There's a video I'll probably link somewhere, maybe. Which kind of details the game more, because I'm not going to bring out the cover because I might actually get flagged for that. Not majorly, but you know, just it looks a bit rude, so I don't want to risk it. Although I'm kind of only vaguely joking there. Same with that one. That's also kind of an offensive title, but it was 50p, so that's why I picked it up. I'm not going to dare get out the cover there. This one, however, yeah, this is where the whole low budget thing started. It was just this arcade game, 1945. Not the one by Capcom, it was 1940 something else. Like, it was another number other than 5, and it's by Play It. Not, well, the publishers are Play It. I think the actual game was by someone else who I can't remember. But yeah, no, arcade game on a PS2 disc, and no memory card saves. But yeah, kind of interesting. And weird, just general weird ones, and not ones that are all that distinguishable. Like, well, there's one out here, Astro Boy, developed by Sonic Team, and I found this for very cheap in a I think my college was doing a games tournament, and they were selling games off, and that's where I found the Crash 3 box with the Crash Bash disc inside it, which I didn't buy. So yeah, I also found Die Hard Arcade while I was there for £4. That was very good, considering that a boxed copy with a manual is like about 10. So yeah, I often don't look into pricing all that much, but it is kind of important if you want a good deal. But yeah, not too familiar with Astro Boy, but the game's pretty good and features quite a lot of flying around. Yeah, sort of fun. Oh yeah, this was one from the cheap bin. It had a sticker up there for £20 at one point. Yeah, never played the first Blood Rain, but it's pretty fun. You can toss enemies around, and yeah, and surprisingly, I'm actually looking for the first Uwe Boll movie. I own the second one over there somewhere, but I haven't watched it yet because I know they're awful. It's just I'm trying to collect the entertainingly bad Uwe Boll video game movies just for a laugh, because I already own House of the Dead, and that one can be pretty funny if you make fun of it, but then again it is kind of a drag at the same time. I don't know, it's a weird mix of stuff. PC ports I also own, like Deus Ex, first one. Funny thing is, I've never beaten the first Deus Ex because I'm not very good at PC games, and this one's kind of a slightly downgraded port from what I hear, but I don't have enough memory card space to try it, so that should be interesting when I actually get round to it. But I'm probably not expecting much, but could be fun. RPGs, yeah, Digital Devil Saga. I got this for very cheap, and it's a re-release because the actually for non-UK people this might be a bit confusing. Let's get an older game out here. Okay, when they rated games, they use either a few symbols. They used a few symbols for these. I'll just get that one up for reference. Back in, I think, early 2000s or so, they'd have PEGI, which detail ages by, what's it, 3, 7, 12, 16, and 18. So yeah, that's how it would go. And then they put like a tiny little symbol nearby saying what there is, like violence or bad language. Whereas in America, they just have not the MPAA, that's the film rating thing. Whatever the ESRB, that's it, ESRB. I actually own a few American games around somewhere, which I might look at later. But yeah, no, they put little symbols by to detail what sort of naughty contents are in them. And later on, they updated them to give them more colours, like 3s and 7s are green. Then 12s and 16s are yellow, and then 18s are red, so you know they're the highest up ones. But yeah, it's kind of weird that they recoloured them. I don't know why, and got rid of the little plus by it. So kind of strange seeing it on a PS2 game. But yeah, then again, this is a re-release. So yeah, I'm not really a big RPG person, but this one I found relatively cheap, and it was kind of interesting. It's not even so far because, well, I don't like random encounters. Like, this is something that's troubled me with older RPGs, and I just forgot I had that off to the side. No, these are BBFC. This is what they rate films by, and for a while they rated games with them, and now they don't seem to do it as often, but yeah, there's the occasional title that has one on it, but yeah, it's not the most interesting thing to ramble about. Anyway, back to RPGs. Yeah, so yeah, with most RPGs, I'm not the biggest fan of them. I mean, I like a lot of them. Well, not well. I like the good ones. I've played a lot of crap ones, honestly. Like White Knight Chronicles, which was one of the worst things I'd ever played on the PS3. Yeah, it was just this. It's invisible enemies that get me because you're wandering around an area. I know it's kind of an old school RPG trope, but I just can't get into certain games when they are invisible. But I actually own one game where that's an exception next to this. Like this one, invisible enemies, annoying, but I can get past them fine. Here's a PS2 RPG I missed out earlier. Shadow Hearts from the New World. Yeah, I'm doing this on the camcorder because later on the battery runs out, so I'm kind of going to do some bizarre editing here. Yeah. It's one of the best turn-based games I've ever played, to be honest, and that's saying a lot, because stuff like Final Fantasy X really didn't make me feel like I was playing a good game. Like, it wasn't just, you know, Tidus going ha 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 and all that sort of thing. I'm just imagining the comments now. Yeah, no, this is just fun, and funny. Like, it's actually humorous, and it makes me want to play through it, and it just has a very nice and bizarre setting of, like, 1920s New York. I think it's, yeah, 1929 New York, so almost 1930s. Woo. And you play as a 16-year-old detective, and it's just fun. Just, yeah, awesome game. I need to play the older Shadow Hearts games, which are very, very expensive. This was £5. The second one is 30, and the first, I think, is around that as well. So it's going to take me a while to find those, but it will be worth it if they are as good as these, if not better. In terms of weird low-budget games, Freak Out. This isn't actually the first cover I spotted of it. I actually prefer the other box art. What this is a game where you stretch the environment and weird things happen. Yeah, I like these sorts of bizarre games where it's not where they're kind of bizarre, but they have like a unique mechanic, like stretching the world or picking things up with a giant scarf. Yeah, that was fun. Now the alternate box art for this is much better, where it's like just the logo plus an entire red thing. Here they just kind of have the character standing there looking at the enemies, and it's just kind of meh, really. But hey, the game is the same, so not much complaint there. God Hand. Took me ages to find this, and yes, it's very good, but I can't save a lot at the moment because it takes up a lot of memory card space, because each file is like a separate piece of save data, which means more blocks taken up on your memory card, or kilobytes, or whatever the PS2 uses. Honestly, it's, yeah, now you can see why I didn't used to collect a lot of them. Also, finding PS2 memory cards is a real pain unless you're looking online, but then again, I don't shop online all that much. I have to, you know, get someone else to do it, then I owe them the money. It's kind of weird and complicated. Yeah, good game. One I've been looking for ages, and one I really need to play more of, because you can customize combos and crazy shit happens, which I really like. An Amiga game on a PS2 disc. Yeah, wasn't expecting this. And again, it's from Play It, who seem to do a lot of these weird low-budget games. And yeah, it's just bizarre having this on a disc for PS2. I haven't actually got past the first level because it's, well, like most Amiga games, it's very clunky and there's lots of stuff on screen and lots of confusing shit. But hey, I'll probably get into this when I'm in the mood for like something old school. But yeah, having it there, rather nice actually. Oh, and right next to it, Killer 7, which I didn't expect to get on this format. It was only on the PS2 and GameCube. This one was a lot easier to find than the GameCube one. The GameCube one I have never seen in person. I know it's essentially the same game, and has like slightly longer loading, but what I might do, the reason I'm holding on to this is because since it's so hard to find, and B, since the game relies on directional movement, so therefore the PS2's D-pad would probably lend better to that. But then again, I would love to find the GameCube one to have next to this, or maybe trade this towards the GameCube one, I don't know. I will see what happens when I get round to it, or if I do find it in the first place. Oh, hi Kingdom Hearts, don't need to get you out because I kind of already know what you are, because I'd like to explain the weird stuff. Aha! He-Man and the Masters of Magic Drugs. Yes. Yeah, this was... this is by Midas, who published those PS1 games over there, the movies stuck on a disc. Yeah, now this is something special because I think this is one of the few games that you cannot beat without cheat codes. Like, there's literally a section with these pillars that come crushing in towards you, and they do not stop whatsoever. So I have to input an invincibility cheat code, get to the checkpoint, and then turn it off to play fair, because if you jump into acid-filled pits, you don't die, so therefore that means you're invincible inside these pits you can't get out of. It's very bad. And also this does have some sort of weird physics engine where if you chop a skeleton in half, their legs will wiggle about. In fact, I think I recorded a video. I'll probably splice it in if I can find it. I don't know if I will. If I do, I'd love to splice that in because that was pretty funny. Mobile Light Force 2. Yes. Hello, Charlie's Angels ripoffs. It's by Excess Games, who did one other game that was actually pretty good. Now this one is just a standard Japanese light gun arcade game, and it's the most nonsensical manual I ever heard. And back, it's like every character has a special attack, in quotations, all-out aerial assault. Each level has a tougher enemy foe. Highest score defeats the enemy. Take survival into your control. And the manual lists something insane like, oh, defeat the murderers or something like that. So what's that have to do with the game? I think they just, make this art, had nothing to do with the game, and then just stuck it on a PS2 disc. It's like, that's utter nonsense. But, the game's not bad. It's just, I don't know, I collect a lot of these shoot-'em-ups. So, that's something. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, a game I got for free and sealed for a good reason, because it's like if you took a standard 3D platformer, slapped Mr. Bean on it, and made it, just dull and such. It's by this UK company called Blast, which I think resides in London. They make a ton of licensed games. This is the only one by them I own, and I'm actually looking out for more. There's literally there's a video somewhere. I'll probably link it again. I'm not trying to sponsor people. I'm just saying, they have a greater frame of reference than I do. There was a video about a Beverly Hills Cop game, which didn't feature Eddie Murphy, but instead there's this bald guy. Yeah, a bald guy substituting for Eddie Murphy in a Beverly Hills Cop game. Like, it was this first-person shooter where you get spotted instantly in stealth, and it's just broken. But this one's just amazing, because you're out to collect Teddy, but you actually collect Teddies as power-ups. So you've already kind of found him. And yeah, it has the most hideous Mr. Bean model ever. Like, I think that's getting too dark there. But yeah, it's just this staring madman who never blinks, like he's always watching you. It's just absolutely terrifying. And there was a Wii version with the most insulting subtitle ever, Mr. Bean's Wacky World of Wii, which sounds like some kind of medical disorder.